Okay, I want to talk about what I talked about yesterday because I can't get it off my mind. It may not be anything to other people, but it's like a total breakthrough for me. Like a complete understanding of something came through my mind yesterday, and I feel super excited. Like something makes so much sense to me. But there's a couple other things I want to talk about first. So, what has come to be known to me is that this publicity stunt that we call this Oscar showcase situation, so I guess it's just a coincidence that the PF was Zer, that they are that they were a part of the money to give to the Oscars. So they are in support. They are a financial supporter, and there's somebody's wife who has the new disease that they have the new pill coming out for. And so look at all the attention they just brought to this situation. Total publicity stunt, total showcase about alopecia, and which, by the way, I know somebody who has alopecia, and your hair doesn't come out solid. It comes out like spots. Like they always shave their head because whole clumps come out in spots. And so when they shave their head, it looks like a leopard. It doesn't look like a shaved head. It looks like a head that's got spots all over it. That is alopecia. And usually your eyebrows, your eyelashes fall out. So, her being bald headed, to me, goes with the whole chemical thing of the toxins that we are trying to process. And like I said yesterday, it's causing people's hair to fall out. And so just imagine if you were a super rich person, your hair's falling out, you don't know what to do. You go into the doctors, you're demanding answers because, for God's sakes, you are a celebrity. You deserve answers. And do you think they're going to say, oh, well, we're being poisoned. You got to live with that. No, they're going to say a diagnosis that has to do with hair falling out. But, oh, lo and behold, we have a new study, a new medication. Maybe you could help us promote this medication. Wouldn't that be lovely? And man, look at how things just fit together for these people. It's just amazing. So another thing too, I can't get this out of my head, because not only these leading ladies who have to go in and play somebody who's just, they're terribly fat and ugly. And what a good job I did to portray them. I'm a highly sophisticated, beautiful woman, and I was able to play this part with such dignity. And also, how many of these men or women that they take these parts like, oh yeah, I'll play the pedo, rapist, serial killer. Hell yeah, that's my big break. Oh, and look I did such a good job. Like, is that something that anybody would be proud of? Like, would you go in and just play the most disgusting person in the world just so you could get a part? Like, come on. Like I've said before, there's no way that they could even tempt me. Oh, would you come in and play, a tattooed drug addict, prostitute? No, I wouldn't. So yeah, we've all played our parts. There's people playing their parts presently. We see what's happening when we wake up and when we're paying attention, when we pull ourselves to that moment in time. So I want to explain this again, because I don't know that I really made it like clear what I was talking about. But okay. Because the allergies. It's the allergies. There's so many people now with allergies. Yeah, we've all got allergies. So if you think about your higher self as being up there in the space around us, and it is in this state of meditation. So it puts itself into a state of meditation to project its energy into a birthing process so it can go in and experience itself. It has a group that it comes in with, and it can go into a reality, which this earth plane, she's just sitting out there crying. But sometimes I think she just wants to go out and cry just because she just wants to cry. Usually she hits the door. It just breaks my heart. I hate it when she's crying. Makes me so sick. Makes me so sad. Makes me sad. Okay. I gotta get on track here. I'm not here to talk about Stella. I mean, we all know Stella's got horrible issues, and I know that these toxins are causing more inflammatory. I mean, the sky yesterday, it was what we would have considered a beautiful sunny day, the perfect day to go outside. It's just too bad the sky is a weird color that happens to be the color of the heavy metals and toxins in the sky. So weird. Yeah, and then we're gonna go out and breathe them, and all that shit is falling down on all of the stuff outside. Like Stella will go out and drink water outside. She'll go out and eat leaves outside. So, yeah, I don't care what anybody says. Nobody. There's not a person that could come at me and tell me that what is happening with people, what is causing the suffering, what is causing the increase in the autoimmune and the cancers, in the all of the different, I mean, we've got so many things happening with the increase in autism, the kids being born with cancer. Like, it's so clear to me what is going on, but, you know, nobody can convince me of something different. You know, I never had allergies. Now I have horrible allergies, and I know what allergies is. Your body's response to a toxin that has gone inside of it that it is trying to push out. So you get a lot of snot, you get coughing, you get sneezing. All of that is to try and get rid of the toxin that your body is fighting. So, yeah, I know what's going on. So they can't trick me into thinking something different because, no. So anyways, okay, so you think about you or your higher self is in meditation. It's projecting an image, projecting itself, because it's not really here, right? It's just a part of itself is in this experience. It is powerful enough to be having multiple experiences at once in multiple different realities. So in this reality that you are born into with a group of people who all come in contracted to interact with each other. So you have these people who orbit around you. They come in and out of your orbit, you know. You have people that come in slow, people that come in fast, people that are always around you. You know, all of these different orbits, just like the planetary system, because remember, micro, macro. So you have this orbit of people who are part of your that's contracted, but it's part of your experience. So your reality will have to do with the experience that you're contracted into. And even in that conscious state, so you come in, we won't even talk about like why people come to Earth, because there's so many people who can't understand, like, no way, why would a soul be born into this? Because there's so many lessons to learn. And this is the first time, well, I mean, I don't know, it could have happened a lot of other times because we don't really know the truth of things. But in this time period that we have recognition of, that this is the first time where people have become aware of their situation, aware of reality, aware of this experience and who's in control of it and stuff. So it's because this is a period of time of ascension, and this is a period of time of awakening. So it's happening on purpose. The people who are here right now are here for this. If you were born, say you were born, man, my nose is really, that just shows to me too, the toxins, how much toxins are really out here. Oh man, my nose is really snotty. So, I mean, it's like back in the back of my nose, down in my throat. So I'm going to keep on. Anyways, I'm going to keep talking. So, anyways, then if during these other opportunities to be born into different kinds of eras, different kinds of experiences, then you come with that certain group. But in those experiences, you're focused on that experience, what you're going to learn by the people who orbit around you and what you're going to learn by the overall experience, because that experience, that time period, that period in age gives us the opportunity to learn from it, to grow from it. But in this one that we're in right now, it is a time of change. So we have to have an awareness of what is going on so that we create the change. So in this experience where we have all of these different people and they come in and out in orbit. So you think about, everybody's living their own reality. Nobody, even if the people orbiting around you, they're living their own reality. Because think about this. So you have a birthday party and it's all your people who orbit around you are at this party. None of you are having the same experience, because everyone is having their own unique experience with each person who is in their orbit. So you could have a party and not everybody's going to have the same story about the party, because it depends on who they orbit with, who they interact with, and what things are meant to be brought up, what things are meant to process. And so, you know, if you have situation with certain people, then, you know, you could go to that party and it was a very triggering experience. It was made you angry. You know, you can't stand to see that person. And then you could talk to somebody else. It was like the best party in the whole wide world, because we're living in our own reality of our own experience so that we can learn from the people around us. This time right now, what's happening is we are pulling our attention free from that experience to focus on like the collective experience, to focus on what is outside of us, around us, not to heal, not to find ourselves outside of us, to no longer be looking for others to identify us, because that's been a part of the experience. The people who orbit around you have given you the parameters for you to figure out who you were. But this is opening that up. This is a experience that opens everything up so that you get to go in and really figure out who you are. That's why this is such a leveling up experience. And so part of this, you know, pulling free from their own reality, because you can see how we have all of these people who are around us who are just focused on their own reality. They're very focused on their own experience, and they haven't pulled it in, even though they have noticed some things are off. That's always the beginning thing, is for them to notice something's off, something's off. What's happening here? This doesn't make sense. So they have to begin to question the reality, but everybody's questioning different things. But in the process, for consciousness to begin to have awareness, then it pulls us in to our group reality, like our group perspective of the situation. And that is why I think as people begin to heal and stuff, why starts to be words like you have empathy and all of that kind of stuff, because you begin to see other people's pain. And, you know, but some people could have had it for the whole time. You know, they could have had an understanding of somebody's pain the whole time, and understanding of connection like that. You know, a lot of us, we didn't want to watch the news because we didn't want to watch about other people's lives being destroyed, and, you know, the fire that took out a whole family and stuff. A lot of us didn't want to watch that stuff because it was painful. Other people watched it because it gave them a fear, like in the movie The Village. It gave them a fear, it gave them a boundary, you know. And so there's a lot of people who have been focused on the tragedies of others because they live in fear, like that could happen to me. When I was a nurse, there was definitely a time period when you start seeing so many bad things happen to people. Like, I can't even tell you the amount of ATV, I think those things are called ATVs. When I worked in the ER, oh my gosh, how many accidents there were from that. Those things would flip over and they would crush little kids, and oh, it was horrible. And especially, you know, you see this family come in and they're all like, oh, we spent all this time together. They're so loving and spending time with their family. And I think most people don't know how dangerous, how really dangerous, even, trampolines, super, super, super dangerous. And yet, you have them everywhere. My neighbor has one. The other neighbor down there has one. Like, you see them everywhere. And they're super, super dangerous. So, I don't really get why there isn't more, when these things are dangerous. Like, if we have a baby car seat that babies are getting killed in, they'll pull them off the market. Well, why aren't they pulling some of these other things? Why are they allowing so many people to die? So, anyways, it's just, I don't know, part of whoever's making money off of it, it all goes back to money and power in this reality. But, we have to see that. We have to see, like, this isn't for our best. It's not for our health. It's not for taking care of us. It's not like we follow the plan and we'll have the best outcome. No, I believe that the poisons and the narrative have made people believe that they're old and sick and they gain weight because there's no other choice, that they have their hair is falling out because that's what happens when you get old. All of this stuff, I believe, is all part of their system, part of the poisons and the narrative, so that we accept it, so we age out and we come back, because they are energy siphoning this reality. It's just what they put it for is for their own energy source. And we come into it so that we learn by experience, because there's so many different experiences. Think about how different each age has been. Even every century or every decade, the different experiences that you go in and have. Like, I have this one, and it is a strong kind of memory that comes back to me all the time in my head. And it is being like back in the times of, I don't know, it looks to me like what I would imagine it to be Egypt, like a long time ago, when men wore those little like cloth thing. It wasn't cloth, it was like fabric, that they look like they wear little mini skirts with side slits or something. And where it was more deserty, like the buildings, like I can see them and stuff, and I can see this stuff. But what I was a different class than the person that I loved. And so that kept us apart. So see, we come in to have these different experiences. Like, what keeps us apart? What brings us together? What are the social dynamics that we live by? I feel like my heart's pounding really fast, like, because I'm really excited about this. So what are the social constraints that we choose to live by over following our heart? Like, there's a lot of lessons there. So, when I go back and look at past life, what I could only assume is past life memories that come into my head is because it's the same kind of stories all the time, the same ones, repeat. So I think that you can start remembering your own past lives, or you probably have certain things that are constantly popping in your head, and it probably has something to do with the past life that you're supposed to be working out in this one. Because everything has, like I said, you have to play all these different parts. You have to play it from every angle. So you have to really get the full experience. You don't just get to go in and be like, oh, what's it like to play, the Duke's father? And no, you have to go in and see, like, what's it like to play the Duke's maid? What's it like to play the Duke's mistress? What's it like to play the child? You have to go in and see it from all angles. So that's part of the soul journey. And so it's part of our lessons and learning. So we have these lives coming into our heads, but a lot of people could just think, oh, my brain's just thinking crazy things. I have a lot of fantasy, or what is that word? I'm a good daydreamer, or whatever. But I think when you tune in, you'll start seeing that some of these things have more significance than what you believe that they have. And they're there to teach you about different contracts and stuff that you are closing out, that you've experienced all aspects and now you understand it fully. And so you are closing it out. So anyways, in this part now, what we have, this ascension, this is about consciousness pulling free from the experience and to change its perspective to a broader perspective, to be able to connect with others in the experience. Because before, we were connected in our orbit, but we weren't connected. So it's completely different. Like I said, you could be at the same party and having totally different experiences. We weren't connected. Even if we were in the same room, we weren't connected. Even if we were married to somebody and had a relationship with them, we weren't connected. We were still living our own experience through our own pains and trauma and our own desires, our own expectations. And that's why we've had so many dysfunctional relationships for so long. And so now is this time where we are advancing. And so we are going to, it's going to be more exploring what is it when we all come together. When we understand and we stop judging others, we stop talking about others, we begin to just understand their experience, and we have empathy, and we carry love for one another instead of division. But see, we are creating that by our own experiences of focusing on others and not just focusing on ourselves, not just focusing on our own traumas. And that's why so much about this healing is being brought up, because it is your opportunity to purge that stuff out so that you can connect on another level. You can connect on a healthy level and present yourself as an authentic being. And you're not coming at the world as a needy, broken, trying to fix yourself with no clue how kind of person, so now we're having like how the planetary alignment is happening. So things come up to the surface, like everything in our reality is coming to the surface, in our public, our private, everything in our life is coming to the surface so that we can release it when it comes to the surface. Because like I've said before, people hold stuff in, they hold their pain in. A lot of people, eat to keep it in there, to insulate their pain. And a lot of people, that's the whole thing behind emotional eating and stuff, is that, it's a process to hold that pain inside, because you can't let it come out. You would be exposing yourself. It'd be too vulnerable to say your true feelings. And I'm seeing so much of that right now in around people that I know, these opportunities that are coming up to give you this opportunity to be vulnerable, to express yourself. And you don't have to think you're going to change somebody, but you have to empower yourself to speak your truth. You don't have to change anybody or anything, but to you, you are empowering yourself by claiming your truth as your own. And you don't have to have everybody gather around and say, oh, you're right, you're right, you're right. Or, oh, you're right and I was wrong, or anything. We don't have to do that. We have to just figure out our own way of expressing ourselves. And like some of the people who I know, like who are, it is a part of having healthy relationships. So kids right now, I believe, are really having a lot of stuff come up, because this is about learning how to be your own advocate. And, it may not feel like the safest thing to go and say something to a parent. If you have a parent who's a rager, who doesn't ever see anything beyond their own reality, because that's what creates narcissism, this egomaniac, is because it's just consciousness that is focused on its own reality. It hasn't come out of that shell yet. And so it doesn't have empathy for the other people around. It's only thinking about its perspective in every situation. And so kids are having this opportunity, I believe. I think a lot of people, I'm talking about kids right now because I know a couple who are having this opportunity to speak their truth. And it may not feel safe all the time. Maybe you do have to take it to pen and ink, pen and paper. or ink and paper, whatever. You know, maybe you have to write it. Maybe you have to write your feelings, and maybe you don't even have to give your feelings to this person. Maybe you just need to journal them. Just expose them to yourself. Don't hide them. Don't stuff them. You know, feel free. That's part of the freedom, is to express yourself, to love yourself. That's the freedom. It's not just, you know, breaking free from the tyranny that we've been dealing with, you know, in this, like, we all were born into this reality. It's like big pharma park or something. Like Disneyland only is a big pharma park. Everything is about it. Everything is about getting money into the system and keeping us unhealthy, because then we recycle back through faster. I mean, they don't want people living here for hundreds and hundreds of years. No. You know, and I've talked about that before. Like, there's something to this all of a sudden where we're aging so much faster. There's such an increase on disease and cancers and all of this stuff. It's all done on purpose. I gotta go let her in. But we've accepted it for so long. And now it's time for us to wake up to it so that we see it. And then we start understanding what's happening here. And it's just part of the process. I mean, this is all of their stuff is going to crash and burn, because that's part of the process too. That is the time we're in, the ending of this age and the beginning of a new age. And the beautiful thing is, this new age is about us coming together as a collective, us connecting, unifying, and creating the new world that we want. This world's going to crash and burn. Oh, bet your ass is going to. And it's going to hurt a lot of people. And it's going to be hard to watch. And it's going to be painful. That's why I say, let go of it. Let go of it. Let go of everything that you are attached to in this reality. Because the more you focus on this supernatural world and connecting with your higher self, you know, the one that's put you here. And don't forget, you're on script. You know, you can't bargain with this. Contracts are written. It's already done. You know, everything is going to happen when it happens, how it's going to happen. That's why it's let go, let God. Just go with the flow, because it's happening for you. It's happening for your higher self to experience. We, with our emotions, get caught up in the pain, but this is for us to begin to connect with our higher selves, because this becomes less painful. It starts to make sense. But anyways, so I'm going to go let her in, but I'll just end with this, is that, you know, when you really start seeing what this whole thing is we connect with with each other on this other level, we connect with our higher selves. You can see how this is moving us into this time where we are going to create a whole new world that is based on love and unity and not control, and that we are our currency. They've tried to make us chase something else as the currency. I mean, when you think about schools and how we've accepted it, that people get out of school, even pay for further education, and yet they have no capabilities of taking care of themselves. It's defeated the whole purpose. Education was primarily so to give you a step up, but education became a way to program and indoctrinate. It had nothing to do with about how to make us more independent and self-reliant, and how to make us be able to manage what we needed to in this reality that we lived. It was all about control. So anyways, it's all going to be changing. There she goes. Okay, so I'll probably be back, but I can't get this off of my head. I see it so clearly. So I'll be back.